What up, world? Welcome to this episode of Blunt Talk Quick Takes. I am your host, Anthony Wright, coming to you from the beautiful and spring-like confines of Atlantic City, New Jersey. Wherever you may be watching or listening, I thank you as always. Like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel. You can check Blunt Talk Quick Takes exclusively here on Podbean. However, if you're looking to gain more access to the Blunt Talk Sports content and podcast, more content, you can check the show out on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Substack, Patreon, Trovo, and as well as on Podbean. Happy to be here with you guys on this beautiful May 12th. I hope you guys have enjoyed your day like I have. It's been a very beautiful day. A lot of NBA content to get into, a lot of things to unpack and dive into, and I'm going to do that with this episode. It's going to be a recap of all the playoff games from over the weekend. I hope you guys definitely were safe. I hope you ladies enjoyed your Mother's Day. I hope everyone had a great time. And yeah, we're definitely going to get into it. But before we do, definitely want to make sure I give a shout out to some friends of the show. You know, it's that season, guys, where we're all getting out of the house, getting our summer plans ready. You know, school's over or school's about to end. But, you know, more importantly, we're getting ready to step out and do something with our summer. Well, I would suggest if you guys don't have anything to do coming up and you're looking for something to do, I would suggest you check out the links in the description box of my video or this podcast, and you will see that there's a subscription link to StubHub and Viagogo. With StubHub right now, there's a huge, ID link thing going on right now for the WNBA. If you guys are looking to catch up to any type of WNBA games, it's a big sport. It's very, very much very prominent now and growing. If you're trying to catch Paige Buchers, if you want us to catch Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark again, I definitely suggest you check the description box of this video. Tickets will be available. Also, as well, on Viagogo, the European Cup final tickets in the Allianz Arena in Munich, Germany. Paris Saint-Germain versus Inter Milan on May 31st of this year will be definitely within the description link of this video. Also, Billie Eilish, if you're Lady Gaga fans, and also Oasis. So a lot to unpack, a lot to dive into. So definitely check out StubHub and Viagogo, leading ticket sellers for concerts, tickets to shows, and live events. And if you're looking to get your gaming on, I would definitely suggest that you get your PlayStation PlayStation link. Check it within the description of this video. You will also be able to access PlayStation.com, PlayStation Sony Direct. You'll be able to get, bundle packages that are available. Or if you're looking to get a PlayStation 5, I definitely suggest it. I've been an avid Sony PlayStation fan since 1996. Or you're saying 2006. Ooh, been a long day, y'all. Nonetheless, yes. So, nonetheless, get into it. Sony PlayStation, more than a game. Hopping right into this, we're going to start with the Saturday games going into yesterday. Now we're going to start with T-Wolves and Warriors. That game three was so important because there was a lot of things going against Golden State in that game. For one, Golden State definitely had to make sure that they were prepared. Not having Steph Curry, well documented as I reported on the show, Steph Curry was out with a hamstring injury. Is pretty much going to miss the rest of the series. The shocking part that they're not really saying out loud. But with that being said, you had to give the Warriors credit. You knew they were going to be scrappy and try to fight, especially if they're getting their ass whipped and blown out in game two. They played a way better physical and chippy solid game. However, you got to think when Draymond and Jimmy are your offense and there's no Steph out there, that is a bad basketball team. That team is just built for Steph Curry, and Jimmy Butler's not a volume shooter. And it just basically showed because, I mean, my God, Jimmy got up, I think, one of them be correct. Show here, give me 1 second. I want to say Jimmy got up about 30 shots, but it was pretty bad. I mean, he got up so many shots that, that's not his game. He's not a volume shooter. But him and Draymond nonetheless played hard, and they did their best to keep the Warriors in the game. It was just a little too much, of Anthony Edwards late on Julius Randle, which I'll touch on in a second. But the Warriors getting Draymond and foul, having Draymond in foul trouble, that definitely is no good. I mean, Draymond definitely. I don't understand. Draymond, a lot of times, you're going to be targeted. Guys are going to be coming at you. What the fuck, man? Like, you gotta use your head in those situations. And I get it, and I don't even want to touch on the whole angry black man tirade. I get it. Fans said some slick shit to him on the sidelines. It had to be addressed. I'm cool with that shit. I have no ill will, no problems, no qualms about it. However, when you're sitting there and you're going into detail and leaps and depths about this, and then you go out and do the same shit the next game, and then you see that he tends to foul out more when Steph's out, which shows you it all being on him. The pressure at some point builds him because that's not his role. So it's just a lot. It's a lot there. He fouled out, which didn't help. Jimmy runs out of gas, and it just pretty much became an issue. I mean, Jimmy was 33 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds. So again, effective in the scoring end, but when you got Jimmy Butler, there was 26 shots. My apologies. He put up 26 shots Saturday night, Saturday afternoon. It just wasn't enough. It just, and he's not, like I said, he's not a volume shooter. So this offense is built for Steph, and when Steph's not there, the Warriors are just pretty damn boring, for lack of better words. But again, shout out to the Timberwolves and their effort. Ant-Man was electric in the third and fourth quarter. Anthony Edwards actually ended the game. One second here, guys. Anthony Edwards ended the game with 36 points, and he also had 4 assists, and he was 5 of 14 from three, so that wasn't great. It was only 35%, but he was 40%, 46% from the field, 13 to 28. So efficient in that department. He was electric late in the game, pretty much the catalyst of what pushed the Timberwolves over the top to win the game. Also, Jay McDaniels deserves credit, 15.6 rebounds, 3 or 4 from 3-point range, and definitely needed, as I've stated, when he shows up, this team is hard to beat. But Julius Randle, the old dog, Julius Randle, triple double, 24 points, 10 rebounds, 12 assists. Julius Randle was outstanding in this game. And then with Draymond being, getting in foul trouble, it just became an issue and it just became too much for the Warriors to handle. The Warriors have problems. I mean, the rubber match is, a couple games away, but we got to be honest with ourselves. Tonight's a must win for the Golden State. Golden State does not win this game tonight. It is effectively over. It is effectively over. Yeah, because you just can't continue on with the lack of offensive production, no Steph Curry, and keep expecting Jimmy to put up 26 to 30 damn shots and Draymond not to get in foul trouble. It's just a lot to rely on. It's a lot of pressure for that team to have. And hey, listen, you know what's low key too? It's a wake up call that Jimmy realizes he's not the guy that can carry the load anymore. There's been Jimmy Butler from maybe 5 years ago. Maybe it's a little bit different story, but again, the offense is built for Steph Curry, and the way he could put up shots and the volume of shots that he puts up, I don't really see how the Warriors can really get out of this situation without him. It just becomes too much of a clusterfuck. Going next, we're going to talk about the Celtics and Knicks. This game was dope. The Madison Square Garden was rocking Saturday afternoon. The Celtics definitely, though, were ready to shut shit down, and they did. They won by winning 115-93. I crack up watching this game because I knew Boston was going to be prepared. I knew they weren't going to do the same shit that they did going in. I know they were going to have a full plan of attack, and boy, did they. Backs against the wall, and they were fucking efficient. The fact that they shot the ball so efficiently and they shot the three balls so well. First of all, from three, they were 50%. That just shows you right there. And they took their normal volume of shots. They took 43-point attempts, but they hit 20. They hit them this time. That's something that they've been lacking the past several games. And it had been costing them. So I definitely want to make sure I give them a shout out there. But as a team, they shot 48% from the field. So again, efficient and effective. Got it in the Boston Celtics credit for that. Tatum was also aggressive and shot well early from 3-point range. He wound up ending the game with 22 points. He was 5 of 9 from 3-point range. Now he was 8 of 20 from the field, which is 40%, but you score in a multitude of ways outside of just going to the basket. So I get it. I wish it'd be a little bit better going, field goal, wise, but it is what it is. Peyton Pritchard was major for this game, major for the Boston Celtics. I was sitting there Saturday watching this with my wife, and she kept saying how he was playing well. And I noticed, like, as the game was going on, Pritchard was just hitting more and more big shots. He had 23 points, 5 of 10 from 3-point range. I mean, just hella efficient. And even Boston's defense. Boston's defense was ready for New York. They ended the game with 8 blocks, and they had 42 rebounds in total, but ended with 30 of them being defensive. So that just shows you how much they were battling on the boards. Got to give the Celtics credit for their performance and definitely showing up after not showing up the first 2 games. Now, all that being said, let's go to those New York Knicks. Could not hit a fucking three to save their life. If the ball was going into the ocean, it would have hit the sand. I mean, it was that real. It was bad. The Knicks, and it wasn't that they shot a huge volume of threes. They only put up 25 threes, but they only hit 5 of them. So that's 20%, which is, not great in the least bit. So that cost them. Also, too, they just seemed to look lost. They didn't seem to have like a rhythm or flow. The offense was kind of erratic. They were, just sporadically trying to get things going. Didn't commit a bunch of turnovers. I mean, they only had 11. However, Boston only had 8. So keep that into perspective. But, the stupid mistakes costing them, the 3-point shooting, like I said, obviously not being there, but most importantly, Karl Anthony Towns being, I mean, that was one of the worst performances I've seen by Cat in a while. Now he had 21 points, 15 rebounds. Here's the thing though. 1 of 5 from 3-point range, 5 of 18 from the field. That's not getting it done. That's not getting it done in the least bit. So that being said, Karl Anthony Towns, and I'm watching the game out his left hand, he's laboring with his left hand, but then he's going up with the left hand, and then he's making plays, and then he's committing fouls, and he's trying to draw the foul, and it just all of it looks shitty. He has to play physical and he has to play to a standard. But it seems like to me, sometimes he wants to be more of a jump shooter than a center. And I don't know. But it's very weird, and I will hope and wish that for the Knicks' sake, he just focuses on being a center who can, spread the floor instead of just, this guy who thinks he's a shooting guard at damn near 7 feet. It's kind of ridiculous. But Knicks, I think, are their backs are against the wall. Locate. I mean, they're up 2-1, but make no mistake, the way Boston beat them the way that they said they were going to beat them. Being efficient, taking the volume necessary shots, taking good shots, but most importantly, not passing up the 2-point opportunities that were there. As long as Boston continues to do that, they'll eventually win this series. Going to Oklahoma City versus Denver. This series has turned into a heavyweight. I've said this matchup is going to be a heavyweight championship fight. In my opinion, this is not just a battle for the MVP, not just for the Western Conference, but this is for the battle for MVP. I mean, hands down, Jokic and SGA are putting on a fucking show. I love the way they're playing right now. This game itself, the Thunder were able to win 92-87. It was a tight game all the way through. However, Jokic and Murray having their issues for Denver. I'll touch on that in a second. But I want to hop on Aaron Wiggins and Kason Wallace. They were huge for the Oklahoma City Thunder. First of all, both of them, Aaron Wiggins was 3 of 6. Kason Wallace was 3 of 3 from 3-point range. Giving Oklahoma City that 3-point shot they needed because, let's be frank, both they and Denver both shot like shit from 3-point range. 24% for Denver and Oklahoma City. Not great. Not great. Not idealistic for, either one of their hopes. But nonetheless, it became an issue because you started to see where Denver couldn't get a shot late. I mean, it is evident as fuck. Without Jokic out there on the floor, they can't score. They can't score. And then late in the game, the pressure, and I don't know. I mean, it happens to the best of us. I mean, Jokic has hit a lot of big shots in his career, but it felt like the pressure got to him a little bit last night. He's missing free throws late. Aaron Gordon, same thing, 1 or 2 from free throws, still, keeping it close, but like, late in the fourth, when you're missing clutch free throws like that, and it's a tight game, you're putting your team in a bad, bad, bad situation. So that didn't look great. Chet Holmgren, though, for Oklahoma City. To me, he is a key to the series. And the reason why I say that is because his length and size and the way he can shoot, he can help spread the floor for Denver and can really make Denver, have to scramble and switch up their game plan as far as defending Oklahoma City and the 3-point shot and even on the interior with his cuts. However, Chet Holmgren has to play way more consistent for Oklahoma City to win this series. I mean, they got away with it last night, but I mean, on Saturday night, but Sunday night, excuse me. 8 points, 13 rebounds, 0 of 3 from 3. I mean, again, not great. Not great in the least bit. You got to be more consistent, Chet Holmgren. I mean, this performance that he's putting out, and I get it. Denver, they play a physical brand of defense. He's still skinny, tall, slender guy. He's got a little bit more of a build on him, but ain't much bigger than he's going to really get. That being said, it's going to be a key for him to step up because if he plays at a high level, Oklahoma City's going to walk away with this series. But when he plays tight and he doesn't play the way that he needs to and he plays inconsistent, it just gives Denver life. But Denver had no life, yesterday because they just couldn't buy a damn basket. And Jamal Murray's inefficiency was obvious, and I truly believe the pressure got to him as well. Now, again, Jamal Murray had 17 points, 2 of 5 from 3, so you got 40%. However, 5 of 15 from the field, just not effective in the least bit, not cutting it. And really, really, that performance really aided and cost his team. And then with Jokic not playing well, just ultimately a bad night for Denver. The series is tied up now 2-2, but I ultimately feel like if Oklahoma City is able to pull out this next game, I really feel like this series is over. Last but not least, we're going to touch on the Cavaliers and Pacers, and this one is not going to take up too much of our time because this was just an utter fucking blowout. I have said it before, and I will state it again: the Cavaliers are in trouble. You were down by 41 points at halftime. Let's just state that right there. Donovan Mitchell's getting injured. He had an MRI. He's supposed to have an MRI coming out today. We'll see what that states. He only had 12 points. You're in trouble. You're in trouble. He couldn't even finish the game. You get Darius Garland back. He gives you 21 points for, 1 of 5 3-point range, 6 of 11 from the field. A little rusty, not too bad, but you're in a situation again where you're still not where you want to be, and you're down big again. And then what is really the ultimate problem? And what's been the difference in this series? The turnovers. Cleveland has been turning the ball over at a high clip. Another game, 22 turnovers. Pacers, 10. It's showing you that team basketball, that camaraderie, and again, division rival. I keep harping on this too, division rival. The fact they're playing a division rival, it's so much easier for the Pacers, especially when they know what they're running. And ultimately, I think that this should be a wake-up call to the Cavs that they probably weren't as great as they thought they were. They got to stop. Teams kind of get caught up in the hype, and I get it. People were like, oh, this is the most wins that they've had since LeBron's left, and this is the best that they've looked. But I would put any money that last iteration of LeBron's team in Cleveland that made the finals against this team would have destroyed Donovan Mitchell's Cavs. So that being said, you got to give the Cavs credit. They did shoot better from 3-point range. They had 40%, like I said, 14 to 35. But the Pacers got this series in hand. There's no way in hell. If the Pacers blow this series, that would be the biggest choke of all time. They're up 3-1. I do expect the Cavaliers to fight, claw, and scratch. However, I do think it may be a little too, a case of too little, too late. That's going to do it for this live stream, guys. Episode of Blunt Talk Quick Takes. I love you guys and thank you as always for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to check out Knicks and Celtics tonight. Also, there will be, I want to make sure I'm getting all these games correct. But yes, Knicks and Celtics tonight, and also Warriors and Wolves. Also, the draft lottery is starting at 7 p.m. So before I pull away, I definitely think Cooper Flag is the unanimous number 1 pick. However, I think a dark horse team winds up winning the number 1 pick. I think it's going to either be the Wizards, the Sixers, or some team we're not thinking about. Also, Giannis stating that he, wants to explore other options of being on a trading block. I think this puts Milwaukee in a nice situation where it's going to suck getting rid of a Hall of Fame talent, a homegrown guy that you cultivated and won a championship with, but get something for him now before it's too late and try to build you a new future, because I think you've squeezed all the juice out of the orange that you possibly could in Milwaukee. So now it's going to do it.